It was supposed to be just another business trip, another forgettable night in a generic hotel. I had checked into the Meridian Inn late in the evening, exhausted from a long day of meetings. The hotel wasn't fancy, but it was clean, with modern furnishings and dim, warm lighting that made it feel comfortable enough. I had stayed in places like this countless times before, never expecting that this night would be any different. But it was. The check-in process was quick, and within minutes, I was heading up to my room on the 4th floor. The elevator ride was quiet, save for the distant hum of the machinery. As I stepped out into the hallway, the air felt off. It wasn't cold, but there was something about the silence, the way the carpet muffled my footsteps, that made me uneasy. Shaking it off as travel fatigue, I slid my key card into the door and entered room 407. Everything seemed normal. The bed was made, the television remote neatly placed on the nightstand, and the heavy curtains drawn shut. I tossed my suitcase onto the chair, kicked off my shoes, and collapsed onto the bed. I reached for my phone, scrolling mindlessly to wind down before sleep. That's when I heard it. A faint click. At first, I thought it came from my phone, maybe a notification sound. But then it came again. A quiet, deliberate click, like the sound of a doorknob being tested. I sat up, my senses suddenly on high alert. The noise had come from the door of the hallway. Heart pounding, I stood up and walked over, pressing my eye against the peephole. The hallway was empty. I waited a moment before shaking my head. You're just paranoid. I locked the door earlier. No one could get in. To be sure, I reached for the handle and tested it. Secure. With a deep breath, I turned back toward the bed, dismissing the noise as nothing more than my imagination. Then, just as I was about to sit down, I saw it. A shadow, a brief flicker of movement from under the door. Someone was standing outside. A chill crawled up my spine. My mind raced. A hotel employee? A guest who got the wrong room? I waited, barely breathing, hoping they would just leave. But the shadow didn't move. It stayed. Whoever it was, they were standing right there, waiting. I took a step back, my pulse hammering. Should I call the front desk? Security? Before I could decide, the peephole went dark. Whoever was outside had covered it. Panic surged through me as I stumbled backward, my heart slamming against my ribs. I grabbed my phone and quickly dialed the front desk. The line rang once, twice, 3 times before a groggy voice answered. Front desk, this is Daniel. How can I help you? I tried to keep my voice steady. Hi, I think there's someone outside my room. Room 407. They've been standing there for a while, and now they just covered my peephole. Silence. Then, are you sure, sir? Maybe it's just another guest. No, I cut him off. They've been out there for at least a minute. Can you send security? Daniel hesitated before sighing. I'll send someone up. Stay in your room and keep the door locked. I nodded, even though he couldn't see me. Okay, thanks. I hung up, gripping my phone like a lifeline. My eyes flicked back to the peephole, but it was still blocked. I backed away from the door, every instinct screaming at me to put distance between myself and whoever was outside. I grabbed the chair from the desk and jammed it under the doorknob for extra security. My mind raced with questions. Who was out there? Why my room? Minutes passed like hours. The silence was suffocating, each second stretching longer than the last. Then, without warning, the peephole cleared. The shadow was gone. I let out a shaky breath, relief washing over me. Maybe they left. Maybe security had scared them off. But then my phone buzzed with an unknown number. I hesitated before answering. Hello? A low, distorted voice crackled through the speaker. Why did you call them? My blood turned to ice. I couldn't speak. My fingers tightened around the phone. My breath shallow. The voice on the other end chuckled softly. I just wanted to see you. I hung up immediately and turned off my phone. My hands were shaking. This isn't real. This isn't real. I needed to get out of there. Just as I grabbed my suitcase, a knock echoed through the room. 3 slow, deliberate knocks. I froze. Then a voice, eerily familiar, called from the other side of the door. Sir, this is hotel security. You called about a disturbance? I hesitated. The voice sounded normal, professional, but something was wrong. It didn't match the name Daniel had given me earlier. I took a step closer but didn't remove the chair from under the knob. "What's your name?" I called. A pause. Then, "Jason? I'm with security. Can you open the door?" My stomach twisted. That wasn't the name Daniel mentioned earlier. I grabbed my phone and turned it back on, quickly dialing the front desk again. Daniel answered almost instantly. "Sir, security is on their way up now. Are you okay?" My throat went dry. "Who did you send?" "Mike. He should be there in a minute." "Not Jason." I took a slow step back, my mind spinning. Whoever was at my door was lying. I didn't respond. I didn't move. I just waited, heart pounding, as the silence stretched between us. Then, after a long moment, the doorknob rattled violently. The chair under the knob held firm, but the sudden force sent a jolt of terror through me. Then, just as suddenly as it started, it stopped. A few seconds later, I heard hurried footsteps retreating down the hall. When I finally worked up the courage to check the peephole, the hallway was empty. Minutes later, the real security arrived. I explained everything. But of course, by then, the mystery man was long gone. The hotel reviewed the security footage, but according to them, no one had been seen outside my door. No one matching my description had checked into the hotel. It didn't make sense. Someone had been there. Someone had watched me, called me, tried to get inside my room, but there was no proof. I checked out that morning, barely able to sleep after what had happened. As I loaded my suitcase into my car, I glanced back at the hotel one last time. And that's when I saw him, standing in a window on the 4th floor, watching me. A shadowy figure, unmoving. I didn't wait to see what happened next. I got in my car and drove away, my hands gripping the wheel so tightly my knuckles turned white. To this day, I don't know who he was or what he wanted. But I never stayed at another Meridian Inn again. And I never, ever ignore strange noises in hotels anymore.